Hi.
First.
Yeah.
She forgot it was her turn to start. Give us a second.
Start it over.
No, go on. They can laugh at us.
Welcome back. Multiplying mixed numbers is today's lesson. Our standard is 6NS1. Use models and numbers to multiply fractions and mixed numbers. Our I can statement is I can multiply mixed numbers and change mixed numbers into improper fractions. So we'll see if we can make that happen.
All right, once you got your notes set up and started, then we'll get ready with our lesson here. So I do want you to take a minute and actually draw this one out, and then we want to talk about how do we represent this amount both as a mixed number and as an improper fraction. So you might want to pause for a moment to draw it out, and then we're going to talk about it together here. All right, first we're going to think about what is this as a mixed number. So a mixed number tells us how many whole shapes do we have, and then how many extra pieces do we have. So in this case we have 1, 2 whole circles. That's our big number. And then we have 3 out of the, if I were to draw them in really poorly.
It's a darn good thing you have the pen.
3 out of the 8 pieces for the other one. Don't laugh at my drawing. My drawing is just fine.
You get a blooper too.
All right. So as a whole number, or as a mixed number, it's how many whole shapes and then how many pieces do I have. As an improper fraction, we don't care how they fit together. We just want to know how many pieces do we have all together. So I have 8 in one of these, 8 in another, plus the extra 3 pieces over here. So all together I have 19 pieces that are each 1/8 in size. So I have 19 eighths. So an improper fraction is just how many pieces do you have rather than how many whole shapes can we make with it.
Slices.
Slices, parts, pieces.
All right. In 3rd, 4th grade, you're really set on those pictures, and in 5th and 6th grade, we try to get away from those pictures. So we're going to try to start a rule. You have your whole number and a fraction. So we're going to do the whole number, the big number, times the denominator. So go ahead and make that a circle. 5 times 2 would be 10. And then you're going to add the number.
I'm just writing it out. I'm being thorough.
And then you're going to add the numerator to that 5 times 2. So 5 times 2 plus 1 gives us the numerator of 11. Now, in everything we do, the denominator is going to stay the same. If the pieces were in halves in the beginning, they're going to have to stay in halves. If they're in eighths, they stay in eighths. The denominators have to stay the same. Those slices cannot change size. So big number times the bottom plus the top is our rule. Whole number times the denominator plus the numerator. And we're going to try a few right here. So in this case, we're going to circle the 4 and the 8, multiply them together, and then add the numerator of 1 in the second step. So 4 times 8 plus 1 is our numerator.
I thought you were going to say the actual number. I was waiting
for you to write it out. So
all right, sorry.
we got 33 over 8. It started as 8s, got to end in 8s. All right. Example 2, 6 1/3. Circle the 6 and the 3, multiply those together, and add the 1. So 6 times 3 is 18, plus 1 is 19. Stays thirds. 19 thirds would be our answer. And then our third example, 8 2/3. Circle the 8 and the 3, multiply them together, and then add the 2 at the end. So 8 times 3 is 24, plus 2 is 26. Started as thirds, has to end in thirds. Apparently you were in a third mood.
Here and pay attention, sorry. All right, the reason we practice changing those mixed numbers to improper fractions is because that's how we're going to multiply our mixed numbers together. So our rule for today is to multiply mixed numbers. We're going to change them to improper fractions first. Then we just go ahead and multiply like we've been doing.
Pause it and write it down.
All right, hope you got it written down. So here we have 2 1/2 times 1/4. 2 1/2 is a mixed number, so we're going to change it to an improper fraction. 2 times 2 is 4, plus 1 is 5, so 5 halves. 1/4 is just a regular fraction, so we're going to leave it alone. And then we're going to go ahead and multiply. In this case, there's nothing to cross simplify.
Boring.
Nice simple one. I gave myself the easy one. 5 times 1 is 5. 2 times 4 is 8. And then we always check at the end, can we simplify it? There's
Nope.
nothing that 5 and 8 have in common. So we get 5/8.
And we're done. Big number times the bottom plus the top is how we get started. So 1 times 8 plus 7 is going to give us 15/8 for the first fraction in the second example. 3 times 3 is 9, plus 1 is 10. So we've got 10/3 for our second fraction. So we've changed them to improper fractions, and now we have to multiply. Remember, we're back to cross simplifying. We're going to need to look diagonal, and I like to start with the 15 and the 3 because 3 evenly goes into 15. So 15 divided by 3 is going to be a 5. 3 divided by 3 is going to be a 1. And we're done with that diagonal. Now we need to look across at the 8 and the 10. 8 and 10 does not go into 10, but it doesn't mean we're done. They share a common factor of 2. So 8 divided by 2 is going to be 4. 10 divided by 2 is going to be 5. And we're left with top times top of 25 and bottom times bottom of 4. Now, you should not be surprised when we're multiplying numbers that are larger than 1 that we have an improper fraction as our answer. We cannot leave it that way. So we're back to what we were working on last week, asking ourselves how many times does 4 go into 25? 4 goes into 25 6 times. 6 becomes our whole number. 25 minus 24 is 1. So we have 1 left over, which is our numerator. And again, denominator stays the same. It started at 4, it has to end in 4. So 6 1/4 was that example.
All right, now it's your turn to try a couple. So pause, write down both problems. Remember to change your mixed numbers, improper fractions, do your cross simplifying, and then go ahead and multiply. When you're ready, hit play again, and we'll go through the answers with you. I'm going to go with black this time. All right, I'm going to go through the first one and leave the big one for Mrs. King.
I see how this is working.
4 times 2 is 8, plus 1 is 9, so I make it into 9 halves. 2 times 3 is 6, plus 2 is 8 thirds. So I've made them into improper fractions. Now I cross simplify. 3 and 9 have a common factor of 3. 9 divided by 3 is 3. 3 divided by 3 is 1. 2 and 8 have a common factor of 2. So 2 divided by 2 is 1. 8 divided by 2 is 4. So I've divided out all that I can. Now I go ahead and multiply. 3 times 4 is 12. 1 times 1 is 1. Please do not leave that as your final answer. That's an improper fraction. 12 goes into 1, or 1 goes into 12, 12 times with nothing left over. So we just have an answer of 12.
I want blue.
All right.
6 times 3 is 18, plus 2 is 20, so we have 20 thirds as our first fraction. 3 times 10 is 30, plus 3 is 33 over 10 for our second fraction. These kind of actually work out very nicely.
I picked
3
good ones.
goes into 33 11 times, so 33 crosses out and puts an 11. The 3 divided by 3 is 1. 10 goes into 22 times, so the 10 divided...
Sorry, goes in 2 times. And
Sorry.
10 divided by 10
is 1. And we're left with 2 times 11 is 22, and 1 times 1 is 1, and fix it and make it a 22. Circle your answer, and you're done.
Nice and easy there for you. Have a good day. See you tomorrow.